Hello, my fourth graders. I hope you had an amazing time reading this story like we did in class. I just love science, and learning more about the earth is just so cool. And I hope that you really enjoyed learning all these cool facts. Being the fact that it is an informational text, I hope you learned a lot. These diagrams are so fantastic. This is not a picture, it's a diagram, because we definitely can't take a picture of the earth cut in half. So this is computer generated, and it just shows you all of those different parts of the earth with the crust and the mantle. We had so much fun reading this story. There's just so much fascinating facts about the earth and all of its layers, and learning about the tectonic plates. So if you did not read through it carefully, I suggest you read it again a second time, because there's so many fascinating things to learn, and this is chock full of lots of facts. So one important thing that you really needed to pay attention to is all these diagrams and pictures, because informational texts are going to have lots of diagrams. So this diagram is talking about the water cycle, evaporation, condensation, precipitation, and you see how it runs off? Runoff, collection. So those are the stages of the water cycle. So there are just some fantastic diagrams and pictures in here. We've got some real pictures of the stars. One thing I said to my kids in class is just how amazing it is to think that all of these little dots that we know of just as stars, and they are as big as the sun in our sky, because all of these are really suns, because our sun is a star, a medium-sized star, in fact, which means these stars, if you think about it, if you were to travel to these stars, you would see another sun, each one of these. It's just fascinating to think how just large our universe truly is. So sorry about that long introduction about how cool this story is. I am going to talk to you now about our word study for this week, which are Latin roots again. Learning new Latin roots, though. This time we're learning about jenner, port, der, and ject. So these are some unique ones that we definitely hear when we talk about science stuff, but also just in general conversation, you do use these Latin roots. Jenner is to produce, like generate. You might hear a generator, like maybe a house has a generator. Generation, regenerate. So like a starfish can regenerate its limbs. If you cut off a starfish, it can regenerate. Do you know that we have an organ that regenerates as well? Our liver regenerates. If you donate your liver to someone, they actually only take half of your liver, and they put that liver in the person who needs the new liver, and both of your livers will regenerate and become full size in about 6 weeks. It's so cool. The next one is port, which means to carry. We see import, report. You're carrying ideas or carrying actual things. Der means to harden. So we see the word like endure, enduring, or during. You're hardening it. You're hardening the ideas, hardening actual items. Ject, which means to throw. So we might see the word eject or inject or project. So think about throwing like a ball. You're ejecting it from your hand. You're projecting it through the air. You're throwing it away from you. So let's look at this bottom part. Complete the sentences to explain how each bold word is related to the meaning of its Latin root. Refer to print or digital resources for ideas. So if you are struggling with coming up with something, like if you were to do this on your own, if you were to struggle, the digital or print resources means you can go look up the word and see kind of how it's used. So if I'm generating ideas, it means I'm in the process of producing ideas. So we look at gen, to produce, generate, to produce ideas. A porter, you might see this at like a hotel. It's a person that carries things. Usually a porter would work at like a hotel, and they would carry your luggage to your room. Is someone who carries items. So technically, if you take out the trash for your parents, You are a porter. You're carrying items. The stone's durability usually relates to what the stone is. So dura means to harden. So if we're talking about durability, ability, or you can see the word ability, it's the ability to be hard. So we're looking at how hard the stone is. Like, how difficult is it to break? A diamond is the most durable stone that there is. You can actually cut glass with a real diamond. So if I take a diamond and I want to see the hardness of it, I could actually scratch glass with it. That's how you can test to see if something is real, if it's a diamond. It is the hardest stone there is. When I reject an idea, ject means to throw it away. I'm rejecting it. I'm getting rid of it. I'm saying, no, I don't believe you. I am tossing the idea away. Tossing the idea out. I'm saying, nope, that's a bad idea. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to reject that idea. The regeneration of the garden meant that it was to regenerate. Generate means to produce, right? The regeneration of the garden. So if generate means to produce, regenerate means to do it again, right? Because we've got the word to do it again. So to produce again. So if I were to have a garden and I pick all the tomatoes off my tomato plant, is the tomato plant going to die? No. It's going to eventually grow more tomatoes. So it's regeneration of the garden. It's going to grow back again. Maybe my plants in my garden aren't doing well and they're not getting enough like sunlight or water. If I start taking care of them and making sure they get all the things that they need, I might have a regeneration of the garden, meaning that it's growing again, it's producing again. So the regeneration of the garden meant that it was producing again. Producing things again. So regeneration, kind of in the same way that like starfish reproduce, like we talked about, they regenerate limbs that are gone, or just like I told you about, our liver regenerates. So really important. I would encourage you to maybe make some flashcards so you know what these mean: to produce, to carry, to harden, to throw, and then maybe just look up some other words that can help you to understand those words and use them in some other ways. I'm going to show you this page. I didn't give you this page, but if you want to just take a look at it while I show this to you, there are some other words that have this in here. Generous, generic, generalization, right? So to generate means to produce. So generic, you've produced like a basic item. Generous, you're producing something for someone else. So you can see how there's lots of different words that use these Latin roots. So I encourage you to go on a Latin root hunt. Maybe look up other words and like practice using those to see if you can understand. When you look up a word that you don't know what it is, can you break it apart using what you've learned about these Latin roots to maybe understand what they mean? Okay, happy hunting. Let me know if you find any really cool words that you want to share with us, okay? Have a great day.